Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery. This is, in fact, a very special episode. You can hear Jason cracking a beer. I assume that was you anyway.
No, that was our guest.
Okay.
Oh, no.
No,
She fell off the wagon.
Oh, no.
Well, that's right. We have Lindsay Burley on this week. Lindsay, you are one of the premier alterists of the community. Been doing it for a long time. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We're going to talk a lot about alters. So, I mean, go ahead and tell people sort of, if they're not familiar with your work in a nutshell, what you do and, you know, where they can find you and your work on the internet.
So I'm all over the internet, mostly all the social medias. I do have my own website that I launched in November. It's hurleyburleystudio.com. You can find articles that I write. I do feedback articles for new alterists, and you can purchase my work there. If you're traveling the country, I do go to the StarCityGames.com tour stops. The next tour stop that I will be altering at is in Philly. I don't know when that is, sometime soon. But I will also be playing this weekend in Baltimore.
Wow, there you go. Keeping busy, I guess. I guess
All
everyone's
the time.
everyone's going to SCG events, it seems like, in 2019. Quite a bit about it. So is that pretty good for you in terms of, you know, is there steady work in terms of compared to however the arrangement works out with Star City? You know, is that something that even as somebody who isn't there signing, you know, their original art from 25 years ago or whatever, you find that going to events works out for you?
Oh, yeah. So I was actually the first alterist to have an official booth at a Star City Games event.
Uh-huh.
If you look at their thing, like if you ever read the rules about going to an event, it says that you can't sell cards unless you have permission.
Right, okay.
So I was just like, well, what if I ask?
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing they can do is say no, right?
Uh-huh.
That's not true at all.
Well, what
Worst
do
thing they could do is torture you for hours and then hit you with acid. So
that's fair, but like I was asking Jared Silva, and he's too nice. He wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't think Jared is really gonna jump into the torture train.
Probably not.
hey man, nobody suspected Ted Bundy either. So
Okay.
just saying. I watched a 4-part documentary about why we were incorrect to trust him.
Isn't that on Netflix now?
It is.
It is. But I asked, and they said, yeah, I could show up, and if it went well, then they would open it up to other alterists, which they have. It's really cool, because now more people can get into the altering scene. But the Star City events have been pretty consistent. From 2011 to 2013-ish, it was literally my full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
There was an influx of newer alterists around 2013, 2014 that did not charge as much for their work, and you get what you pay for.
Right.
For most of the time. But Magic players like to save money, so to put it nicely,
right.
They put me out of business for a little bit because of how cheap they were. I had to go get a real job.
Wow. Has that shifted back over the last couple of years, or?
It has, because they have figured out that it's much more work than what they're charging for, but they
Right.
can't actually charge enough to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been able to come back into the scene a little bit. My website has helped a bunch. Being with James has also helped a lot. He's been so supportive of me and what I do, so I've been able to transfer from having a part-time retail job to doing altering full-time again.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
By supportive, do you mean financially?
Yeah, he was able to let me take that time off of work to restock all my stuff, and start to get my name back out there again, because I kind of disappeared for a little bit, or at least went under the radar. But I got my stock restocked and was able to get back out there, and now we're full swing again. Star City events, normally when I go, I get about a month's worth of commissions.
Wow, that's great.
Give or take. And then my website has taken off. I have a really cool project that I'm working on. The only thing that the public knows is that it's all slivers.
Okay.
But a shameless Patreon plug, only my patrons are going to see the slivers when they're finished until the whole set's done.
Nice. Okay. Wow. So
what's your
what is the website?
You didn't plug your Patreon. You got to tell us.
Let's.
We need the Patreon pitch, as a matter of fact.
Patreon pitch. Well,
you have
if
the floor.
If you support me on Patreon, I am going to be posting up works in progress of my of the altars, of my canvas paintings that I do. I know you guys can't see it right now, but in the back there's a giant canvas back there that I had to cover up with a blanket because it's not done yet. Nobody can see it.
Oh wow, yeah, that was good thinking.
Yeah, I had to like turn the camera on to make sure there wasn't anything showing. But works in projects, works in projects. What's the word?
Progress.
Progress. Works in progress.
I told you she was drinking. Didn't I say that?
I do that. You guys, well, not you guys, but my patrons get early access to finished work so they can buy stuff early. Canvases go live early on there. You get behind the scenes pictures so you get to see how messy my room is.
Right.
You know, and then like pictures of the baby was always a plus.
Well, yeah, I mean, what you're talking about is kind of rings true to me because I've been through that freelance sort of grind before where sometimes things are going terrible and sometimes they're going great and you just got to roll with it. So
yeah,
now
I mean,
that you're back in,
like,
yeah.
When it got low, I got a real job. I worked in an arts and crafts store, so I was still doing arty things.
Mm-hmm.
The ladies and stuff, like the customers that I met, I was happy while I was working there because the people there made me feel helpful. Like they come in and they ask about like, hey, I'm learning how to paint. What paint should I use? And I'm like, hey, I've got you.
Right.
This is all the stuff you need. Don't worry about that. That's crap. We don't actually need that. They just want you to spend extra money. Here's a coupon. Come back and show me what you did. And I actually had a guy who came and like took pictures of his work, would go home, paint something new, come in the next week and show me a picture of the new thing that he did, and he just made me so happy.
That's awesome, actually. It sounds very wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, how did you get into altering? You know, when did you first start? Because it's a market that, well, I mean, I guess I the first I heard of anybody, you know, making a living off of doing altars was probably, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. It seems like they kind of broke out onto the scene. So how long have you been involved?
2011.
All right, yeah, that makes a sense. Yeah, that's
yep.
That's about when
I first started altering cards when I saw a guy in a comic book store doing 3D altars, the ones where you cut the pieces out and stack them together.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cool. I was like, hey, I think I could do that. And I did it, and I started trading my stuff, and just kept going and going, and then a few years later, people kept asking me to paint on their cards. Like, hey, can you do a painted altar? Hey, can you do a painted altar? I'm like, guys, I don't know how to paint. I've never painted before. I don't know how to do it. And I finally got tired of people asking me and taught myself how to paint, and now here I am.
You just no big deal taught yourself how to paint, because that sounds like the hurdle I would never be able to overcome.
It like if you go back and find some of my old stuff, it's quite terrible. Like it's quite awful.
Hey, I actually my mic actually just started working again, which is cool. But so I have some of your altars. They might be some of your first works from like around 2011.
Oh,
because
no.
I went to back when I was a Magic player. I went to the SCG Open in Buffalo, New York. I don't know if you remember that one.
That was like the only time I've ever been to New York.
Yeah, so that was my first SCG Open, one of my first competitive events, and I got 2 or 3 3D altars from you. It was Savra, Queen of the Golgari, Gerard Lichlord. That was later one, I think, and then Glissa the Trader.
I think that Savra, she's a Queen of the... She's a black-green chick, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And she's kind of skinny-ish with hair in the background.
Yes. Yep.
I think that's the only one of that card that I've ever done.
Oh, wow. There you go, DJ.
How many Iname death aspects did you do?
I've also only done one of those.
Ha! I got the only one on the planet. Suck it, nerds.
And I did not enjoy doing that one. She's got lots of little pieces.
Yeah,
funny,
like
though,
the claws and stuff. Right? It looked really small.
Because I remember you asked me, like, oh, the more copies you have of that card, the better I can make it. And then so I collect glissas, so I just had like a stack, like a 30 or 40 card stack. I was like, that should do.
That should work.
Do. 40 of them.
But yeah, so like back then when you guys got stuff from me, my stuff, that was brand new. That was me learning how to do a wing in it. And painting's not that hard. Everybody can do it.
No, you have to practice.
Everybody's whose hands don't shake, maybe. There's no way I could do
So
it.
people are like, you're such a talented painter. How can I get talent? Oh, work at it 20,000 hours.
Oh,
yeah,
weird.
No,
you
really,
go
but
practice.
what do I need to
What's
do
the magic
to just get
ingredient?
good?
Tell me
20,000
what
hours.
to do. Go practice. Go pick up the
20,000.
paintbrush and go practice and go fail. And then come back and go fail again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eventually you'll get there.
That's not the
great.
answer.
I mean, that's
people
life
want.
advice. That goes for anything.
Yep.
Pretty much. But painting stuff, you can at least, like, cover it up and try again.
That's a good point, actually, yeah.
Some life
And
stuff you
and
can't
you know when
cover
it's
up.
bad, too.
Yeah.
It's good having that feedback.
Some people know when it's bad.
The internet always
This
thinks
is some-
stuff is bad. So I always trust the internet.
That's true. So, like, 3 years ago-ish, I decided to be brave and post my work on Reddit.
Yeah?
That was
Good
a
luck.
terrible idea.
Yeah.
But Reddit seems to like me a little bit more now, so I post my stuff every now and again when I'm feeling particularly pleased with something.
Yeah, well, that's... Reddit is this two-headed beast. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's just really mean.
Very mean.
Yeah. Well, all right, you guys...
Well, the thing is, like, it cascades. Like, if the first person says something mean, then everyone's like, yeah, they pile on. But
That's
like,
true.
Yeah.
if the first person says something complimentary and it gets a bunch of upvotes, someone who's going to say something mean sees it and be like, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really the first person to comment.
Yeah, it's whoever gets there first.
Yep, that describes the internet pretty well these days. All right, do you guys... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Since we're on the subject of Reddit, in Alters, we all know who Klug is, right?
We do.
Yes. His stuff is amazing.
It is.
Eric Klug did our zombie token.
Mm-hmm.
It's an original painting, and you
he's a-
did our treasure token.
He's a printer. I did a treasure token because I can't draw people, but...
Well, the treasure tokens are great, so everybody...
I
We
love
can't
how
draw
they came
treasure
out.
either, Lindsay.
We got a lot of great feedback about them, and we very expertly planned it right around the release of Smothering Tides, so we all did a great job, really. Pat ourselves on the back here.
I posted a foil altar of, I say her name wrong, the big green dinosaur from Ixalan. Gahala? Galta.
Galta, yeah.
Okay, I did a promo. There was the promo version. It was a border extension foil, all shiny and stuff, right? An hour later, Eric Klug posted his comic book Ulamog. Don't know. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And I was like, ah, damn it. I'm just going to get buried in all of his upvotes. Maybe next time. But miraculously, my Galta got 100 more upvotes than his Ulamog.
That means
that's awesome.
That means you win. That means he has to commit Sudoku in.
Yep, you're right, DJ. That's what he has to do.
It's the proudest moment I have on Reddit so far.
That's, to be honest, you're doing a lot better than a lot of people on Reddit. It's pretty bad.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome.
The most upvotes I ever got on Reddit was making fun of Reddit, so
I think that might count.
That was pretty meta.
yeah, it was meta. It was a Reddit post of a tweet about a Reddit post.
Oh my god.
Sure thing, man.
And for those of you who are going to say something, yes, I understand that seppuku is the Japanese sword thing, but
The
y'all
Japanese
don't
sword
know.
thing. Come on.
Y'all
The
don't know
Japanese sword.
Come on. That's
My son, you have disgraced our family. Go do the sword thing. I didn't have to do the voice. I chose to because I'm an idiot. Because I make bad decisions.
Oh man.
But yes, it is a known meme. So
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, do you guys want to do some breaking bulk here, and then we're going to get into the nitty gritty of some of the finance surrounding altars.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, breaking bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
Modern Masters 2017. Also several Commander sets originally printed in Dissension Artifact.
Dissension? What was Dissension?
Spectral Searchlight.
That's never gotten a Commander reprint, so no.
Conspiracy. It's also not in Dissension. I don't
For those of you who are either new to the cast
Dissension
or
was
who are,
the third.
or
the
who
third
are
set?
Lindsay, Breaking Bulk is a part of the cast where we name sets and attributes of a card, and then
Okay.
other people try to guess what that card is, and that card is normally a common or uncommon that is typically found in bulk that should not be. Like a card that is like, oh, this is $1. Why'd somebody leave this in a pile?
Okay.
Is it Transguild Courier?
No, that card has also not been reprinted, I don't think.
What's the thingies again?
So it's it was originally printed in Dissension, and it's an
Okay.
artifact,
Uh-huh.
and then it got a lot of supplemental reprint products.
Okay.
And so the reprinted version is the one you want because that is the one that is worth more with new art. It is worth a surprising amount of money, especially considering that all of the other friends of it in the cycle are not really worth that much money. So I saw the reprint version. I was like, wow, this is worth a lot more than the original. So
Man, how many artifacts were even in Dissension? Like,
Well, look, he gave another clue though. It's an artifact that's in Dissension, and it's part of a cycle.
part of a cycle.
And it has
is it
new
a
artwork.
Signet then?
it is a signet.
Oh, that's
Simic?
Nope.
Demir.
Demir.
Rakdos.
Oh.
I was gonna say well, the Rakdos art from Dissension sucks.
Which is why the Modern Masters one is like $1.50 or $2.
Sorry, Greg Hildebrandt, your shit's weak.
Okay.
Did you just know that off the top of your head?
Jeez, no, he's obviously looking.
Yeah,
it
he
up.
did all of them. He did all. Of them.
Oh.
He did all of them. So I just know that because I like the Simic one. It looks like a bar of soap.
Interesting.
It does look like a bar.
Okay, all right.
Well, the
even got
Modern
the
Masters
bubbles.
and or I believe the original I believe the art was originally switched in Commander 2016. So that was the first printing of Rakdos Signet with new art, I believe. But that and the Modern Masters one are very, very much more in demand than the Dissension counterpart, just because the Dissension one looks like a burnt cookie.
Yeah, it does kind of.
And the Modern Masters one is like this sick brand that's glowing red from being in a fire that's going to get used on somebody. So that's cool. And it's like $2.
The Azores one looks okay. It's got that stained glass thing with the brick wall in the background, but the rest of them kind of look like they were cards from like Legends or some shit. It's like when Mark Poole was 17 years old, he was commissioned to do this art.
All right, I've got one for you guys. An Amonkhet uncommon, then artifact.
Is it one of the monuments?
It is not Oketcher's monument.
Is it one of the monuments?
It is. It is more expensive than Oketcher's monument.
It's Bantu's.
It is. It is Bantu's monument.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that was a good one.
You told me 90% of the information. I had a 25% chance, and I nailed it.
So Bantu's monument, the cycle from Amonkhet, it's a 3-drop. Black creature spells you cast are 1 less, and whenever you cast a creature spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. So I don't know if it's just draining multiple opponents at a commander table or what, but Bantu's monument is almost $1.50, to be honest. It's actually the I believe the second most expensive common or uncommon in the set. Yeah, behind Lord of the Accursed, the Zombie Lord. So it's actually kind of impressive. I didn't know that one until I started digging around and finding, some of the finding that it was not bulk and then looking it up specifically. That's a pretty nice one.
Normally your recent picks are garbage, but that one was good.
Yeah, I thought that one was.
Normally, when you're like, "Hey, this Ravnica Allegiance card is $4," and everyone's like, "Yeah, thanks, we know." But that one's good.
I'm on a roll today, man. Don't worry. All right, Jason, what do you got?
A Rise of the Eldrazi reprinted twice. Black Uncommon.
Rise of the Eldrazi.
Is it Inquisition of Kozilek?
No.
That's
that
probably
would not
pretty
be
good.
in bulk.
That would be a good guess, though.
Yeah,
because I do think it's been reprinted.
I think it's been reprinted multiple times.
Is it
Dual deck, commander deck.
Yeah. Let's see here. A black uncommon.
Suffer the Past?
For the Past is not.
Dual deck, commander deck. In that order.
So it was probably in like back around then. It's probably like Garrett, maybe. Is that the dual deck?
Zendikar versus Eldrazi. I'll give you that much.
Okay.
Is it Consume the Meek?
That's a rare.
It is a creature.
Oh darn! I don't even know.
Is
if
it
I'm
an
naming cards that are in
ally?
Rise of
It's a good
Eldrazi.
guess. You're guessing good.
Is it an
It
ally?
is not an ally. I don't think there were allies in
No,
Rise
there
of
weren't
the
allies
Eldrazi,
in
were there?
ROE. I should know this, but I'm just blanking. I probably pick it, but I'm blanking on the name.
That's
Would
what
you
happens
like
to me
me
all
to
the
embarrass
time.
you all by telling you?
Sure, man.
Pawn of Ulamog.
Oh.
Oh, that was ROE, wasn't it?
It was ROE, and it was in Eldrazi versus Zendikar, and it was in Commander 2017.
No, I guess that makes sense. DJ's right. That's one of those cards that I pick and then you don't ever think about because I haven't seen that card in a while.
It's somehow like $1 retail for the ROE version, and like a little bit less for the other ones, despite being printed that often.
Yeah.
Just because it's just such a slam dunk in so many decks. It's
Yeah,
a
it
great
is.
card.
It is. It is very good. All right.
You know, I think it was in the Edgar Markov deck, but like,
Isn't
I
that
think
deck very expensive now?
Yes. It
yeah, the
retails for
Dragon
over
one
100.
too.
Yeah, so that probably helps the price stay up there because it's, you know. These...
Well, I mean, that deck's got a $30 card in it. How cheap could it be?
Right, exactly.
I sell
nice
the
one,
Dragon
for
Precon
sure.
for like 120 on TCG. It's insane.
That is pretty nuts.
Because I listed it, and then I thought, oh, that'll sit up there for a few months, nice and toast. And then 3 hours later, it's gone.
I busted it, and the only card I took out was the stupid Tygam that I could have bought for $3.
Unlucky.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I like busting product, man. If I thought it was a buy, I would have bought them sealed for $30 by the hundreds. If
Yeah.
if I had an inclination, it would go like that. I realize it's Dargans, but like the deck wasn't particularly. Whatever, man. Good for people buying the stuff they like and making it
people.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell them they're wrong because I didn't go out and buy a bunch of copies. Just
Well,
whatever.
isn't that the one that had the dragon cat thing? Right?
Wasitora
yeah.
or whatever, yeah.
Wasitora.
Makes the dragon cats. That's why I would have bought it, because it has dragon cats.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Dragon cats sound cool.
Yeah.
There's a Dragon Cat token that's probably a breaking bulk pick in a couple of weeks for DJ.
Yeah, it's cute too, I think.
I wonder what the Wasitora token costs.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, let's all make it intrigued. Ooh,
It's like 19 cents.
it's like 20 cents. Yeah. Womp womp.
Yeah, good
Oh.
effort.
Wasitora is $250. Well, take all that out then, JJ. Make it sound like whatever, or make me sound dumb. Make it sound like it took me a minute to look it up because I went to the wrong website first, and then do whatever you want. You idiot.
Why didn't you just Google it? That's what I did. Took
Ooh,
me like 5
whoa.
seconds.
Because I was already on a website, Lindsay.
Oh.
Yeah, I think she got you there, Jason. I mean, like, generally when someone tells someone else just Google it and they have any sort of rebuttal that isn't Google is down, you've lost.
I was on a website with card prices. I typed into the website that was open. That was less work. It could have worked out.
Mine was faster.
I agree. Could have worked out. You took a shot.
Swing and a miss.
All right,
Shot
so
by
let's
shot.
let's talk.
Well, apparently our guest is better at painting and Googling.
Well, she's certainly
Sometimes.
better at Googling than you are.
Good job, Lindsay.
To be fair, having known Jason for a long time, the bar is not high. But also,
That is true.
Jason
Darn.
is in the top.
What?
Jason is in the top half of Googlers on this podcast. like for lifetime,
Gold star.
lifetime people on this podcast. Jason's in the top half.
Top half.
I'm better than Ryan and Marcel and Corbin.
Better than Ryan. All right,
Well, we
so
all have to be good at
Ryan
something.
uses Ask Jeeves, I'll bet.
he probably does.
I miss
man.
Jeeves. He's gone.
It doesn't exist anymore at all.
No, it like I think it goes. It's something like, oh, you were looking for this. This is gone now.
I think it was like an
That
Ultron
day.
situation where Alexa took him out.
Oh, yeah,
I would
that's-
love it if really old search engines gave you really old results. Like you type in prices and it tells you like what a Black Lotus costs.
It takes
in
you, well,
1998.
yeah, it takes you to like geocities.com or whatever.
I don't think it's GeoCities.
GeoCities, man.
GeoCities.
It's GeoCities.
It takes you to like the Heaven's Gate website, which is still up.
Actually, I have no idea what it's called, just for the record. I wasn't even trying to make a joke.
Is it Angelfier?
I wasn't old enough like
Angel
you.
Fire, dude.
I wasn't
Yeah,
old
I don't
enough like
know
you,
what
Jason,
you
to
guys
know.
are even talking about.
Yeah,
now.
like I'm not old like Jason. I don't actually know what people did back then. I was not on the internet in those days.
I'm old enough that when we learned how to research stuff in school, when we first started learning how to use the internet, we were not allowed to use Google
Yep.
because Google wasn't trustworthy enough.
Right, of
Yeah.
course.
When I started
yeah.
out, we weren't allowed to use Google because it didn't exist yet.
Right, well,
My
sorry.
wife learned the hard way. Don't go to whitehouse.com. Go to
Oh, yeah.
whitehouse.gov.
Everybody learns that lesson in school.
Not me, I guess. I already had whitehouse.com bookmark. I was like, not going to catch me doing that at school.
Anybody who's listening who somehow isn't aware of this, I would highly suggest
Go to whitehouse.com.
whitehouse.com right now, especially if you're at work. That's the only advice I have.
And if you're a patron who goes to patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery and gives us as little as $1 a month, which works out to 20 or 25 cents an episode, don't go to whitehouse.com at work. Everybody else, you're good.
Oh man, that was a good Patreon plug.
That
I didn't work
was-
on that.
That was a
He's
You didn't
got
even- we
like
asked
100
you-
and something episodes of practicing.
I asked you multiple times, and I don't even think you told us
I
the
don't-
address.
I don't even know what my address is. Probably like
Oh.
Burly Burly. Let me look at that and see what it is.
Yeah, that's good to know. Hey, go to my Patreon. How?
Google
Oh.
it.
Figure it out, you stupid idiot.
Here, I googled
Google
it.
it.
My Patreon is patreon.com/hurlyburly.
There you go. Everyone goes
Forward
That's
slash.
easy.
Jason didn't even include that part.
I don't
People-
say /.
Oh well.
People
So many
probably get-
people are going to patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery and getting a 404.
I mean, there's a
They're like,
50%
"Ah."
chance.
Jesus, we'd be over $1,000 right now if I wasn't such an idiot.
Yeah, I had to explain Patreon to my dad last week. He asked, "Why the hell?"
Well, you see, these weird people on the internet decided to give me money.
I mean, yeah,
So
it's like I have to. Yeah, I mean, I've actually gotten pretty good at explaining the podcast now because it's like it's one thing to be like, oh, I have to podcast night a week and I can generally adjust, but now it's. I mean, now that we've been doing this for a long time and we have things to do, it's like I can't do stuff on Monday Night Guys podcast, right? So people ask what it is or why, and you have to explain to them that like people expect us to be doing this, right? We made a commitment.
Right.
Corbin, just do what Jason did when he had to dress up as Guy Fieri and tell people you lost a bet.
Well, I mean, I guess I could do that.
I did lose a bet. I bet our Patreon would not get to $500
Yeah.
a month.
I think it was
No, you
a
said
1,000. It was
It was
1,000 for sure.
Because it
Was
was
it
at
1,000?
It was at 500. You're like, no, there's no way it'll double.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back. Let's talk a little about sort of the basics of altering for people who don't know. So for people at home who may want to get cards altered for their commander decks or their cubes or whatever, what is the price range of people, right? If you want to share your rates, that's fine. I don't know how it works, right? So I don't know if that's public or it's always a private transaction, but absolutely, tell us the basics.
Yeah, so my information's always public. It's on hurlyburlystudio.com. My rates basically range from $25 to $50 for border extensions and full art alters. And basically, if you're extending the art that's already on the card out into the border and text box,
Yeah.
somewhere within that price range. Most of the other people on the Star City circuit are also in that price range. A little bit higher, you'll get higher quality work. There are absolutely people that have higher quality work than I do. A little bit lower in price, and you're going to get lower quality work. The main thing
Who's your favorite person who's you would say is like around the same level, and like who's your favorite person on the SCG circuit that maybe charges a little more?
I don't think that there's actually anybody that charges more. I think most of the people in the SCG circuit are all on the same level.
That's good for you guys to get your act together like that, because
yeah,
it's good.
Most
more money for everybody.
The majority of us are on the same level. I know that for a while, I don't know if she still does, but Blackwing Studio used to charge more for border extensions because she didn't want to do them. So I charged less.
Interesting, yeah.
So if somebody went to her and was like, hey, do you want to do this border extension for me? And she'd be like, no, you can go over to Hurly Burly. They'll do it for you for cheaper.
Oh, well, that's great.
And I didn't want to really do characters at the time, so they would come to me characters, and I'm like, hey, nah, go over there. They'll do that for you. So most of us try to work together and average about the same price, so people can, get about the same quality work. My favorite altarist is not on the Star City circuit, and I don't think he actually does altars anymore.
Oh, sad day.
I think he's done taking commissions on altars because he's moved into tattooing.
Oh wow! Who is that?
Who is this? It is Serial Alters, but the sad part is that he lives in Germany. So I have to travel to Germany someday to get tattooed.
Well, it's fascinating, just all of it in general, right? It's just another aspect, little niche of the community. Not just that there are people who like altars, right? But that there's an entire secondary market that's sprung up around it.
Oh yeah, it's great because at events you can go buy regular cards if you want to go buy regular cards, or if you want to bling your deck out in a different way that's not just like easily purchasable.
Right.
Purchasable? Is that a word?
Close enough.
Sure. You can come to us and we can paint on your cards and make them look even cooler. And sometimes it's cheaper to buy an altered version of a card than it is to buy a foil version of the card.
Right.
I had a customer in Columbus stop by and he's like, "Wait, you're telling me that you can alter foil cards and they'll still be shiny?" I was like, "I can. Not many alterists can do that, and I can do that for you." And he's like, "I'll be right back. I'm going to go buy four Baleful Strixes." Because apparently a foil Baleful Strix is a lot of money.
Yes.
So he was able to buy a playset of altered Baleful Strixes for about the same price as a foil Baleful Strix.
Well, that's crazy. I actually have a few art extension altars as well.
You started with a card that wasn't foil already and then changed it to a foil?
I can make non-foil cards be shiny without using metallic paint because metallic paint adds thickness and thickness is bad.
Right, yeah. So what should people who maybe want, like I said, I have a couple, they're pretty cool, and the ones I have are just ones I've sort of picked up via trade or people selling them into the store or whatever. I've never actually commissioned one. What should people do if they want to go, they decide, hey, this is the person I want to talk to or something? What should they, look out for?
What should somebody do if they want to commission a card?
Yeah, like what are the basics of the sort of the basic information that somebody who has done 10 who's had 10 commissions knows that this person doing their first doesn't?
So you always want to research the altarist that you're going to get stuff from. Like if you're going to get a border extension for a blue themed card or something, go look through their portfolio and make sure that you actually like the products that they produce.
Right, because not everybody does even the same things at the same level.
Right, exactly. So like even if they're a good person, not this sounds kind of bad. Even if they're a nice person, their quality of work may not be up to the standard that you want. Or alternatively, if you really like the person and you want to help them grow as an artist, commissioning them, even if they're lower quality, that's super helpful to them, because then they get practice and get paid for their practice, because you should always pay the artists.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So check to make sure that you're going to get the quality that you want from the artist that you're planning on talking to. If you have a general idea of what you want to get, let them know. Like, somebody would come to me and be like, hey, I want to get a Nekuzar altered to have a border extension, and I want to have some distressing in the text box to make him look more creepy. Sure, got it. I can do that for you. But if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to have a super detailed anatomically correct skull on Nekuzar because I think that would be super sweet, I'd be like, nah, man, I think you should go talk to this person because they're going to give you what you want. I'm not going to be able to do it at this time. But as long as you can convey the idea that you want to your altarist, you'll be good.
Yeah, so I know we mentioned Klug already, and his work is definitely probably one of the most well-known in the community. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons for that is because if you get something altered by Klug, even if it's like a Lotus or a Mox or something insanely high-end, the person who's getting that commission sort of has that guarantee of, even if I take this out of my cube a year from now, it's resellable even at that premium because it has this artist's name attached to it.
Right.
So is there anything you have sort of recommendations for like purchasing cards or like how they affect the secondary value of the market or just any sort of thing like that of like advice on reselling altars or where to do that or anything like that?
So if you're going to resell altars, the safest way to commission an altar for reselling it later is to make sure that you have on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the like Klug, have somebody who's a 7 and up do your altar for you, because then you know that the paint's going to be thin, it's most likely going to be allowed to be played in tournaments, so you're still going to be able to retain that value.
Well, and that's really important, right? Because I've had a few cards come through where the card is clearly different in the sleeve because the altar has used paint that's just sat on top of it.
Right, absolutely. And for the most part, cameras are so good nowadays that if they take at least a halfway decent photo, you're going to be able to kind of tell if the paint's too thick or not.
Right.
But if you have a quality artist and you get I call them judge friendly altars, ones that follow the MTR.
Yep, good idea.
Yeah, because you can't guarantee it, so it's just judge friendly.
Yes, every altar is subject to the head judge's discretion at every competitive event.
Correct, and if you want to look it up, it's MTR section 3.3.
Yeah, and people think that, they just have to look at altars or whatever. I actually, of all the unenviable things about a head judge's job at a Grand Prix / Magic Fest, I think that dealing with people who have I'm going to say anime altars of their cards.
NSFW.
Yeah, I think that might be the it's just got to be the worst part of their job. I've watched it a few times.
Because you gotta hear about the First Amendment for a guy who wants his anime titty altar at a tournament.
Well, yeah, it's like, sometimes it's sad, and sometimes, yeah, it's just some of the older Magic art is also itself kind of problematic. Mm-hmm. And I've seen I've seen an extension of something like that before that makes it more questionable or whatever, right?
I mean, Steve Hargle himself has done some questionable Liliana the Veils.
Steve Hargle, I was gonna say Arcade Post got he's not allowed to do things anymore. So yeah, judge friendly stuff, always good. As soon as you decide to do something that's custom, like your favorite anime character, titties
right.
or no titties,
right?
Or something that takes the original artwork off of the card and removes it, you can sell it for that premium price, but you're gonna have a hard time.
Well,
Because you have to find a person that likes that same thing that you do and also wants to play that card.
Right, and that's the issue I've had when people bring me altered cards before, is I just have to tell them, hey, this is damaged, right? So in a lot of ways, we would caution against some of that stuff, but I do think the idea of an art extension is got to be the easiest one to move. And like we're talking about, there is enough of it. It's harder to find the community. You can't just walk into your local LGS and expect them to want to pay you a premium.
Your
or
local
whatever.
LGS.
Man, DJ, come on.
Do you
Here,
remember to go to the ATM machine and type in your PIN number to have money for the local LGS?
Yeah, that's what you do.
You gonna go buy some scuba apparatus?
There's a joke here, and I don't know what it is.
Corbin just has to go pick up his certificate of redundancy certificate. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's at the
at his local LGS.
It is at the office. It's at the Department of Redundancy.
The Office of Department of Redundancy Department.
I lost my train of thought.
I think in Mike's.
Yeah, we're talking about
the Bureau of Botched Jokes Department.
We're talking about the resale value. So the thing is, it seems to me that it's probably one of those. The demand is not necessarily less, but it is coming from a different segment that you may not reach as easily. But if you know go, just fine.
I mean, I personally fully expect I have a Birthing Pod alter in my cube, and Birthing Pod is one of my most beloved cards. I played it a ton when it was in Standard, a ton when it was in Modern. I have trifled with it in Legacy. But I have full confidence that my altar will be worth hundreds of dollars in the near future, because it is a Tide Pod.
Oh my god. EJ, that's a dead meme, man.
No, it's
dead like all the people who ate Tide Pods.
All three of them.
It's a dead meme, EJ.
No, dude, did you know that a bunch of elderly people and children eat Tide Pods, like, before it became a meme?
Oh, yeah?
They just look delicious.
Wouldn't that be
to
an
people.
accident, to people that don't know
yeah,
better?
I guess. They ate it on purpose, but they shouldn't have. I don't know if that's considered an accident per se. It's a mistake. It's not an accident. It's a mistake.
You're gonna tear that part. You're just gonna rage quit with that deck at some point in the future and try to sell that pod, and you're just not gonna.
It's in my
everyone's
cube,
gonna
man.
be like, what does this mean? Oh, it's in your cube.
I had a poor guy commission a playset of pods right before it got banned.
Oh, rip.
And he bought the pods. Like, he now had 8 pods. He had 4 that he was going to play with, and then he had 4 that he gave to me.
Yeah.
And I felt real bad for him.
He was a pod player. I don't care.
He was a
kind of people.
But
he was nice because I messaged him, and I was like, "Hey man, your card just got banned, and I haven't started your altars yet.
Oh yeah,
I already bought the pods, so I'm not going to refund you for that. But do you want to put your money towards something else?"
Yeah.
And he did.
Oh, so they weren't done yet. That
was nice.
Yeah,
that was great.
That's a nicer ending.
Yeah,
I thought it was like, okay, you finish it, you take the last brush stroke off, and refresh the page.
No, yeah, like,
and they're banned.
He opens them up in the mail, and then he looks at his phone and sees that it's been banned. He's so excited, rushes to Twitter to post the altar of his new pods, sees the card's been banned. Because remember,
that happened
by the
to
way,
me. I traded for an Arayu for me
Uh-huh.
to paint on for my EDH deck. I painted it on whatever day, right? Literally the next day, it was banned. I can't have nice things.
That's how it
Yeah. So, one other thing I was going to ask is I believe you've done conferences or you've done panels in the past for judges, right? Where you discuss you discuss like legality and helping identify counterfeit cards from like very heavily altered cards and stuff like that. Is there any suggestions you have for determining authenticity or avoiding rebacks or anything like that?
So once the card is painted on the front, it's really hard to tell if it's a counterfeit or not. You can, though, tell in the art box, as long as they leave that in there, the different shininess on it. The flip side of the card, on the back side, normally it looks different than
Yeah.
a regular Magic card.
Yeah.
So the backside, if the card's painted and you think it's fake, that's what's going to give it away. Unless you tear it apart, and then it doesn't matter. But
because rebacks are some of the trickiest counterfeits to identify, especially when it comes to high-end stuff. Like, I work in a vendor booth, and 99% of the time, if somebody walks up and says, like, hey man, is this fake, or do you think this card's real, or what, such and such, if it's like a time twister, or if it's a whatever, or if it's an altered lotus, I can tell pretty quickly if it's counterfeit or not, just because of my experience. But reback can be tricky. That's the one where I have to get the magnifying glass out and like check the thickness and the everything and all that stuff. So rebacks, because they are technically, I mean, they're technically alters, but they are not real cards anymore that can be used in a tournament, because they utilize multiple pieces of multiple Magic cards and just sort of attempt to recreate the real thing. So the rebacked power is the trickiest for me.
I don't have much help on that one though, unfortunately.
That's all right.
All right. So, is there anything else before we move on to pick of the week that we haven't touched on yet regarding alters that you think's important, Lindsay?
Oh, let me look at the Twitter message.
Okay.
And see if I said anything else. I don't think I did. My main thing is if you get stuff done, just make sure that you're gonna get what you want. That's the important. It's like getting a tattoo on your card.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's
Sometimes you're like DJ and you get a tramp stamp on your card.
let's move into pick of the week here.
I have some really interesting alters in my Gauntlet. I put it that way.
I did a Gonti for Christmas. I did 2 of them. Apparently, he's a really popular EDH general.
I upgraded my demonic tutor this weekend to a
slightly less jacked up alpha.
No, it was worse. I got rid of the better condition one and picked up a worse condition one.
Nice. What'd you get for the one?
400.
I was considering offering you considerably less than that.
No, I got an unaltered alpha tutor that just somebody took a Sharpie to the edges of it.
Oh.
Cool.
So Sharpie cards, experience alters can get Sharpie off of cards.
Yes.
Yes. That's a thing. It can be saved.
I actually have a beta soul ring that's been sharpied.
Like a signature or like a Sharpied edge?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a beta soul ring that has been sharpied. That's salvageable?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I will be sending you a message after we're done with this podcast.
Wow.
Because I just kind of accepted that I was never going to sell this beta soul ring that someone sharpied to make look better beta. So that's good to know.
Yeah, no, so yes, there is a process that gets the Sharpie off of the card. One of my old friends figured out how to do it back, I think it was GP Vegas, when they ran out of stamps and they just started Sharpieing the cards that you opened. Do you remember that?
No, but
it was one of the GPs that they ran out of stamps, I think. For some reason they started Sharpieing the cards for the draft instead of actually stamping them.
I guess if they didn't have anything else they could do.
Yeah, no, like you ran out of ink. Like, what can you do? There was too many people.
Yeah.
Go to Staples.
There's no Staples in Vegas. So we figured out how to get Sharpie off of cards. So that's a thing that can be saved. I did get to salvage a time twister, I believe.
Nice. That's a good one.
That's the one with the hourglass, right?
Did you get a little nervous trying to do that?
No, because I've worked on a Lotus.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
So a time twister is fine. But I felt so bad for the card because the text box itself was scribbled out in ballpoint pink pen, and then the artwork everything but the little dude in the hourglass was scribbled out in black Sharpie. It was real sad.
That is sad. Well,
Yeah.
but that is one of the things that altering can do that we didn't touch on is if you have a really badly damaged card,
We can make
you
it
know,
look
one
pretty.
I mean, that's, you know, if the resale value of the card is already going to be tanked because of the condition of it, well, get your favorite character on it, or just get it, you know, restored with extended art like we're talking about, and then you actually, you know, get to restore some value to the card.
Yep.
That's
Like, if the backs, like, if it's just Sharpie on the front of the card and the back of the card's fine, put some paint on it, and it's going to be very many more dollars than it is with the Sharpie.
Yeah, because I know
really
I
good.
had a high-end card that I picked up in DC last year, and it was missing a chunk of it on the back.
God.
But, I mean, you could tell it was real because it had a blue core. That was nice. It was visible. So,
Oh, look, here you go. You can see.
Yeah, how great.
And so that was something I picked up, and then I was considering my options were, like, either wait and it goes up eventually because it's a high-end reserve list card, or just send it to Klug on a 6-month.
Rip DJ.
Yeah, you stopped talking?
Yeah, well, his mic does that from time to time.
Okay.
I guess it does
If you would
tonight
like DJs
anyways.
to stop dropping the call, go to patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery. And if you are at the $10 level, you can have access to the spreadsheet where you don't even have to listen to the episode. You can just get our picks of the week and our breaking ball.
When did I
directly
cut
on
out?
that spreadsheet. I don't know, man.
Anyway, you talked to Klug at his 6-month something.
Oh, yeah, 6-month. He's got, like, a several month-long wait list. It's crazy. But,
Yeah, mine's
that,
about
that
6 months,
Patreon
too.
contribution will help DJ buy a better mic and maybe a better computer so his dick doesn't get wrecked all the time. And, you know, every little bit helps. So thank you so much for being a patron. And if you'd like to be a future patron, you can have stuff like that not happen as much. So
Also,
that'd be good.
I won't lie, I do have a giant pile of ash behind me in a box and a bunch of vials to put it in to send all of you. So
Is your kid climbed on it?
no, we've taken it away from the kid. Don't worry. I can't
My
imagine.
kid can't move yet, so that's good.
That helps. Yeah. In fact,
Yeah.
that's the best. That would be way easier.
She's still immobile. You put her down in a spot and she's good.
It won't last long, and then she'll
No,
be. She will be
she's
everywhere.
7 months. She's figuring it out.
Yeah.
I don't have
no,
much
yeah.
time
That's how
left.
it goes. Enjoy it. Make sure the
I don't
house
know why
is
we're starting
baby-proof.
over. My daughter's just starting to get cool, and then is like, yeah, let's just have a useless one.
Man. On that note, let's do pick of the week here. Before Jason says anything else mean about his unborn child.
Hey, man, you can't say anything mean about an unborn kid.
Why is that, Jason?
Because he doesn't technically exist. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's just a rule. It's like, yeah, you can call him useless because he can't do anything.
Oh, so once he's born,
He can't drive a car.
Yeah, no. Once
or
he's
read a
once he's
book.
born, you'll never say anything negative about him, right?
Oh,
I
man.
mean, speaking from experience, I couldn't imagine Jason saying something negative about one of his children. Nationally published podcast.
Internationally published? Are there podcasts that are just published nationally?
I mean, yes, maybe.
in
Welcome
China,
to Poland Cast.
There are.
They're
We are
called-
only in
available
Poland
in
because
China
our
because
internet
the
is not good
blackout.
enough.
Look,
Yeah,
DJ,
pretty much.
DJ, they're called radio shows, man.
those aren't podcasts.
They're called like a radio show. It's like a podcast. It's only
It's
national
like, but it's not.
or even local.
This is Corbin explaining it to his father-in-law. It's kind of like radio. We talk about your dick.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. Father-in-law listened to me podcast, and I was like, "Fair warning, it might be a little vulgar." So you know.
It's like a radio show where you can say George Carlin's 7 words you can't say on television.
Yeah. All right, so who wants to go first with a pick of the week?
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
I've got a good one. I'm excited. I'll go. I've had this card cast against me a few times in Commander, and I've recently found out it's worth money.
Commander, what's
and
that?
getting-
Is it like EDH?
It's a little like EDH, only better.
Ugh. I don't know if that's true.
Anyways, this card is just starting to move a little bit. Probably really over the next week and a half, 2 weeks is going to move. But Vindictive Lich out of Commander 2017. It's a weird card. It's a 4-mana 4/1.
Teysa doubles it.
Zombie wizard. When it dies, choose one or more. Each mode must target a different player. Target opponent sacks a creature. Target opponent discards 2 cards. Target opponent loses 5 life. So it's perfect in a 4-player game. I've never played it myself, even in a Carador deck, because I don't know, the value just seems kind of medium.
Because your Carador deck just goes infinite and kills everybody.
But it spends most of the game not doing that, right? It plays a lot of cards like Vindictive Lich. In fact, Vindictive Lich would probably be another win condition because I can make everyone lose 5 life infinitely.
This is going way up in like the last week.
Yeah, well, it's not though.
Corbin pick special.
No, it's not. Literally, look.
It used to be like $250 on TCG Player and like $5 on Card Kingdom, and now it's like $5 both places.
I'm telling you that the median
market price is $4.20.
Yeah, I'm telling you that the median price on this card is just under $4, and it was $3 a couple weeks ago, right? Like,
cool. The listed median's really useful when you get down below 20 results, because some dude charging $2.99 for shipping and $2 for the card kind of throws it off. So I'm telling you, man, listed median, if you have below 50 copies, don't even look at it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking. Of course, but that's what I'm talking about. Market price on the card is $4. So whether you want to say the card is worth $3.50 or worth $4, the card has gone up 20-ish% in the past couple weeks, and it looks like it's about to just double, right? I mean, we can quibble over whether the card is actually worth $3.50 or $4 right now, but it doesn't matter because I think it's going to be an $8 card.
Also, fun fact about that card, we were talking earlier about how 2 of the Commander precons are absurdly valuable from that cycle. The Dragons and the Vampire decks are over 100 apiece. The Cat deck floats at the median of those. It's like 65, 70 or so on TCG. The Wizard deck is hot garbage, and if Vindictive Lich goes up and several other cards in that Wizard deck goes up, you want to keep an eye on the precon of that, because then if all of the cards in that deck add up to like $70 or $80, the precon's still 40, and then you do what I did and just buy a bunch of them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what do you guys got?
I have 2 this week, and I'm only going to say 1 on the podcast.
And the other one's going in the spreadsheet?
In the spreadsheet.
Okay.
And that's not because I'm being a jerk. It's just because I don't think there are too many copies left, so I don't think it'll be relevant by Friday. So only the people that have access to the spreadsheet are gonna get it anyway. Tip in time.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, on Monday there's still copies left. By Friday, probably not. So my pick for the podcast is Revel in Riches. It's used a lot, and Teysa
is that a new card?
It's from...
Does that use a certain type of token?
Is it from a set that maybe makes treasure tokens?
Oh, no. Yeah, well, treasure tokens.
Ah.
I thought it was something else.
Wait a minute. Oh.
Ow. Whoa, I wonder where you could get some cool treasure tokens from.
Patreon, basically. I don't think are we doing regular runs of the...
That's a good...
Yes.
Which one are we doing? The
fridge went out to the 28. The fridge one went out to the 2018 exclusives. The other one is probably just purchasable, but we haven't really.
We need Escape one.
We need to put it.
I like that frame. It makes it look super cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. I'm actually really happy with it because it was different than it's very unique. So people
right, and treasure tokens don't attack. They kind of sit there and chill.
Yeah,
so
it's perfect.
They don't have to be vertical.
Yeah, it's great. All right.
And then you play smash the clans or whatever and just turn them all into centaurs and kill somebody.
You could do that, yeah.
That's the green way to do it. The black way to do it is Revel in Riches. The blue way to do it is Mechanized Production. Yep. And the red way to do it is Hellkite Tyrant. So every color's got a way to win with those Smothering Tithe tokens. I think Revel in Riches is especially good because Teysa gives you 2 tokens when a creature dies and you only need to get to 10. So that's pretty brutal.
All right, DJ? DJ?
Good.
Excellent.
Who wants to bet
DJ's...
like 100% this is just an issue of him plugging it in?
I'm here. Just type it and I'll read it in your dumb DJ voice. Type what it is. And I'll make up a justification and I'll read it on the cast. Please do that. He's typing.
No, I can. I'm here.
Oh, some bitch. God, we're gonna do it. my name's DJ.
Do it. Knock it out, DJ. Go ahead.
Before I cut out again, my pick of the week is Raving Dead.
What is that from?
He cut out. It is from Commander 20 something. It is more on TCG Player than it is on Card Kingdom, which says to me it's probably going to move a little bit.
Yeah, so this card, before
Commander
I cut out
2014.
again.
Yeah.
Don't say that. Don't say before I cut out again, or JJ can't splice it in very well.
Oh
but he can't splice in very well with me talking over it the whole. I'm totally help DJ buy a better computer setup. That's what we need. We need our patrons to go to patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery, crank up to that $10 level so you can have access to the spreadsheet and get the pick of the week, because DJ's not getting it out of his mouth. It's just not going to happen.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, all right. I have a pick. Oh, he wants to come back now.
Oh my God, it's not me. It's Skype too.
Oh, Skype.
Oh, maybe your
Skype
internet's cutting out.
Help DJ buy a new Skype.
I don't get why my internet's cutting out and my mic is also cutting out at the same time, but it's weird. So, Raving Dead, a lot of the C14 rares have jumped recently, just because the supply on that is just getting so low. And, I mean, like, we've noticed Flesh Carver, we noticed Storm Surge Kraken, we noticed, Hollowed, what's the card you mentioned, Jason, that also tripped my radar?
Nope, not going to mention that on the podcast. And blue ones, too, like really terrible blue ones.
Yeah, Storm Surge Kraken, the really awful mind control that, like, steals 3 creatures when they attack. A lot of those C14 rares are jumping just because the demand's getting so low because they get picked up by casual players. Raving Dead cuts somebody's life total in half. It's like $1. Yeah, that's just my...
We got to deal combat damage to a player, but it's a 2/6 death touch, so, like, they're probably not killing it, and they're probably not wanting to trade it with a creature big enough to kill it, so that's just really annoying. Plus, it's a zombie, and zombies are easy to make it a 3/7, a 4/8, and bring it back from the graveyard. So yeah, that's fine. Like, basically, man, there's so much stuff from 2014 that could be just poised, so I think...
And keep your eye on, like, those sealed decks. Just keep an eye on eBay Buy It Now or on Amazon on the actual sealed deck. Because people don't keep track of when the total value of the conglomerate of those singles goes up beyond a certain breaking point.
But I mean, Ghoul Collar Geese is in that deck, and that's a $23 card right there. So, like,
yep, Grave Titan's in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
You get your medallion cycle.
Actually, just very good.
Graves.
Yeah. All right. Did you say you had one as well, Lindsay?
I do, but it's not as good as your guys'.
Well, that's okay.
Yours are all well thought out.
I don't paint as well as you, so
yeah, we want it. We want to hear it anyways. What do you think?
So I still think, I've thought it since he's been spoiled. It may be because I really like Izzet cards, but I still think that people should be buying their Niv-Nizzets.
Really? Okay. From Guilds of Ravnica.
Yes,
the
from
card
Guilds
is
of Ravnica.
Pretty busted in standard.
He's super busted.
Is he the best Niv?
He is the best Niv
variant in Commander.
Yes.
Probably.
He's the best Niv.
He's harder
in
to cast, but who cares?
It's better.
He's the best Niv in Standard. He's the best Niv in Legacy and Modern.
Yeah, card is great.
Card's great. And people are now doing this in Standard. They're doing the Wilderness Reclamation deck, I think it's called.
That's correct.
With Expansion Explosion and Niv-Mizzet. So, I'm not saying that I called him to be good when he was spoiled and everybody naysayed me, but...
We've never done that on this podcast, fortunately. We've never been wrong about cards and called them bad.
Never, ever.
Definitely not in this set, even. All right. Well, Lindsay, thank you again for coming on. Remind people where they can find your work or find you on Twitter or any of those things.
Okay, let's try this again.
Okay.
You can find me on my website, hurlyburlystudio.com. You can find me on Patreon. You can support me, get early access to my work, watch work in progresses, and get tips and stuff at patreon.com/hurlyburly. And you can find me on the Twitters. I believe I am hurlyburlyart. I am at hurlyburlyart on the Twitters. I'm also on Facebook, hurlyburly.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on. This was pretty interesting for me because I'm not an expert on the altar market at all, so it was very interesting to hear about it all. Everyone, hope you enjoyed it as well.
Different thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. So definitely everybody, look when you're at an SCG event, look for Lindsay, check out her stuff online, because this is a really cool part of the community that, deserves support. Check it out. Thank you for listening, everyone. We'll be back next week. We've got plenty of stuff. I'm going to end this week by addressing this very briefly because I've had a lot of people bring it up to me. So I'm going to, everyone who's asked me about coverage and all of these things in the wake of Jersey, I'm going to read a tweet to you by Rich Hagon. It says, PSA, everyone who works coverage at...
Do his voice. Do a Rich Hagon voice.
I'm not going to do that. It says, everyone who works coverage at an event is a freelance contractor. We work when and where we are asked to work and love to bring you coverage whenever we can, just as much as you like to watch and read. So thanks for listening, everybody. This is Brainstorm Brewery. We'll see you next week.